Hi guys, my name is Carlton, your financial educator, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Men, Money and Mental Health with Carlton. So many of you know me as the person who generally talks about money and how you can budget and save and level up financially. But guess what? Today we are shifting focus just a little because we want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. How as a man I can level up. How can I live my best life financially but still maintain some sanity mentally? And as men sometimes, we don't know how to strike that balance. So guess what? I have some good brethren. We're going to sit down and have a good talk today. So guess what? Follow me. Let's talk about men, money and mental health. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, is money. And I think it's good to tie it in now because we're all fathers, husbands, and we do our different career things. But how, as men, because sometimes we're growing up, work the money, carrot come, the woman spend the money, that kind of thing. We have heard that narrative before. Sometimes as men, we don't balance money well. How do you balance money? You know, how you treat the money like the main chick or the side chick? You treat the money like, you know, wife or a friend? How you treat the money? How do you spend money? How do you balance budget, that kind of thing? Yeah. Is money a big thing in how you deal with it? Mr. Financial Advisor, I'm talking to you.
All right, I feel I'm being targeted, but that's fine. For me, money is important. And I try to have that to be communicated between myself and my partner, right? Because it is the talk of the day, the talk of the town. But for me, I treat it like a main girl because money and numbers is something that you have to spend time with. And if you don't spend time with a woman, then I'm going to
testify. Testify.
I am not testifying. Wife, you can't talk.
You can't talk, I'm good.
You know? So you have to treat it well, so it can treat you well. Because the truth is, this, you know, money is like anybody is looking for a good place to stay. And once you treat it well, it serves you well as well. So I balance my thing.
You balance your thing
and
well.
Budget is important.
It's important. Did you make plans for your family? When you got married or started having kids, did you make that good financial plan?
Honestly, no. No, not until we hit rock bottom last year. I thought everything was good and dandy. But then what that taught me is that anything can happen at any time. So you need to be prepared. That's my biggest
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, man.
So, all right, if it is that as a man, you work $100,000 and your woman work $20,000, does that make you feel less than a man?
If she works
more than you,
me,
yes.
And this is just me, guys. I don't think I would feel less of a man if it is that my wife earned more than me. Ideally, at the end of the day, it's a coming together of the two people.
Yes.
So, and that's just me. This is just my opinion. So the coming together, so it don't matter if she earns 100 and I earn 50. At the end of the day, when you put it together, it's going to be a 1.
But that's a nice textbook answer, you know, because we know many men, if the woman earns half as near as them or even more than them, even if the woman maybe still is okay, as a man, I don't know if it triggers something in your psyche to say, as a man, maybe if I earn more than a woman, as a man, maybe if you have something, you know, structured and more, I don't know.
Maybe it's a thing that society fed
into our psyche.
Fed our psyche, you know. Because the truth is this, wouldn't mind if my wife can come to the same amount as me, because
I stop work. I'm stay at home father.
We can save more, you know. We can save more because at the end of the day, less burden upon you.
Yes.
And at times when you would probably don't have to chip in, you can look upon it and you know you're chipping at that, and then at the end of the day that make your wife feel even better if you say, alright then, him have my back. You know, just imagine you're treating somebody at times where them not ask you for treat them and you know, it's just like dinner is on me tonight and nobody will do cooking tonight, man. Oh yeah, them man.
That's just scary. You know?
So I believe women like them type of thing and that give man some flair
and some strength.
So it is okay if my wife earn more than me personally, I don't have any problem. But for some males, they will have a problem. But man, it's alright.
It's okay. Right. I want us as fathers to start teaching our kids about money.
Yes.
Did you get that as a man? Did your father, did your mother, did somebody before you taught you how to handle money? And that is something, if yes, you can tell us. If no, you can tell us. And then how will that impact you being a better father to even your children when it comes down to money and handling money?
You want to go, Kevin?
Me and my father, you know, we spoke about stocks and bonds and which one matures when and which one is better, nice. and he would talk about which accounts he would get and things like that.
Okay.
So what I do now, I try and make sure that I set up my children in a way that they can grow up learning these things as well. So when they get to the age, they have more knowledge, they're able to save better, they're able to invest better, and things like that.
Craig, you're not banking. Your daughter know about them something, you start teach this concept
she
already.
have several piggy banks.
Okay,
so every
good.
time she gets something, it goes in the piggy bank. So that is just a start for her, and I think she can carry that into the future. But I never got that from my father. We never had that conversation about stocks and bonds.
No,
I don't even remember, to be honest, having the conversations about financing. I know I've seen him working, and my mother would have been the one to put the house in order and so forth. And that is how I think I started initially. But thank God for a good wife.
Yeah, you better sing it again. Yeah.
The wives keep us in check, to be honest. So as much as I was probably heading down that path, she sort of helped me out with the finances. I'm not a banker, but she helped me out with the finances, align some stuff, and we're doing good.
Okay, good.
For me, my dad never went in detail, so I can say that I'm probably a split between the middle. It started for lunch money allowance. My dad would have called both myself and my little brother and say, hey, all right then, if you want this amount of lunch money, you have to show me where it is going.
Oh, good.
You get what I'm saying? So he would say, all right then, we'll put it on paper, because you have to take the thing from your head and put it on paper. We make the presentation. So we learned how to negotiate from early. You get what I'm saying? So we put it with pencil, he would supervise it, and then him come back and say, all right then, why is this so and why is that so? And then after that, now we have to write it in pen and put it, and then we have to sign. So it was an agreement. And then like every year, if it is that we wanted a raise of lunch money, we had to show. You get what I'm saying? To the point where it reached where we started to get our lunch money for the month. No, the first 2 months, my lunch money done 2 weeks.
It's a problem.
But the truth is this, I couldn't go back to my father because I never wanted it to go back to me getting my lunch money for the day, because I want him to know, so yo,
you're responsible.
The responsibility when we can manage that. And because of that, I think it is probably one of the things that would have led me to the financial industry. And because of that, now I'm even doing some little $50 challenge, because my daughter is just 11 months. And trust me, I said it to my wife last week. We do some $50 challenge and she counted, and she said it reached about $30,000-$40,000. And I said, just imagine, at 1 year old, if me could have get $30,000. My daughter probably don't know what that means. But trust me, just imagine $30,000 invested right 30 years or 20 years from now. It set the pace, it set the standards.
And I think as men, we have a responsibility. So even if you didn't get it from your father, or you didn't get it, or you got it, or you get a proper textbook lesson on how to do that, as men, we have a responsibility to pass that down to our children.
When I can't cut you, big up daddy. Enough man not do that, you know. Big up daddy.
Big up your father, And we have heard it from me. I want, when I am 50, 60, my child saying the very same thing. Yo, big up daddy, because which is why it's important that Craig and Kevin and Carlton and Fabian will put that forward with our children and to change the narrative completely. Because it is so important, you know, how we treat our children, how we love them, how we put things forward. You know, one of the things I wanted to pick out as well, because I know women have their checklist, but us as men, we also have a checklist. And that's the reality. Before you got married, or you know, you were looking for a spouse, what was some of the things that you were looking for? You said, no, yo, as a man, the lady, I have this. And then in the reality, did that come to fruition? You know, what's important to you now in a partner?
You go.
Who wants to go first? Who want to go first? A problem.
For me, I wanted my wife or my partner at the time to have a beautiful smile. Whenever I look at her and she smiles, you know, it captivates me. And
you got that.
I got that.
Wonderful.
You know, but of course, thinking future, I wanted her to be stable, mentally have a good head on her body. True. I wanted her to be able to have conversation, good conversation, smart, intelligent, wise, because all of those are three different things: smart, intelligent, and wise. I wanted her to be God-fearing, of course. You know, I got all of that.
Oh, great.
And a family woman. Yeah, fortunately, I got all of that.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah,
well, for me, I wanted somebody who has them head on them body. You get what I'm saying? Because the truth is looks is just a part of it, you know.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, whenever it is time to sit down, we must can have a healthy conversation. And that was my major thing. Yes, everybody have them pet peeve when it comes to a certain physiques and all of that. And one of the things that, especially for my wife, like growing up in my household, the emotional connection wasn't there because my father is an army man. So most of the time he wasn't there. And both myself and my brother, we were not taught to really express ourselves as much. But you see, it's when it comes to my wife, she is the epiphany of emotions. You get what I'm saying? So she softened me up whole heap, and you see, because of that, and I never feel as if I really felt love until I met her, and because I now have it, I can now share it. Because the truth is, you can't share something or give something that you don't have, you know. And she did that for you. Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I was looking for was personality. I've been with my wife for about 16 years, married for 10. How we gelled. So we've been friends before we started dating. So that was a plus for me. The family was another big thing for me. She comes from a really close family. And mine was pretty decent. I grew up in a household like that. But generally, personality was big for me. The fact that we were friends before and we moved into that space made it much easier for me. And I would still have a strong knowledge though.
That's good. For me, I realized nobody mentioned it apart from the smile, but the physical part for me was a thing, you know, more on the woman to shape good. She shape good, and that was on point, you know. But I have been that shallow, I mean, having somebody who's my friend was important because we need to have good conversation. Because when there is no physicalness happening, you need to have good conversation. That for me was important. So my wife has an excellent personality and we can talk about every and anything. Who talk people more than a husband and wife a night time? Yeah, nobody. Say that. Husband and wife talk, listen. And that for me was important because we can talk about every and anything. But she's God-fearing, you know, and she's very nurturing and very, very caring. And you mentioned it that you may not have been the most emotional person and lovey-dovey kind of person, but having that kind of person around you know it's a rub off on you. So you can now have that for your children. Hug your son and you can hug my son and say, yo, I love you, I don't feel no way, and kiss my daughter and whatever. And that's directly because, you know, the kind of partner that I have. And those are important things. Very much focused, very much supportive. And you want a woman that is supportive of your dreams, supportive of your vision. And that for me, you know, was important. And I got that. Big up wife. Big up wife, big up wife, yeah. So those are important things, guys. And as we close off the segment, I want you to take a minute or two and just to tell what do you value most about being a husband and a father and a man right now? What do you value most? No.
I value, as a man, I value being able to share with my other brethren. I value the openness and vulnerability we have with each other. That helps our mental health. As a husband, I value pouring into my wife and us building together. You get me? We have our goals and we see how it is that both our goals can work together to build each other. As a father, man, I value seeing the development of my children, especially because of what it is that me and my wife doing. Right? The 7 o'clock bedtime that they have, it was hard, but it worked, and I think they developed some form of discipline with that as well.
What you value?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I value and the biggest takeaway from me is just time. Spending time with the family, with the wife. There's not enough time that you can spend with them. And the truth of the matter, if you put something ahead of it, it's going to be at the expense of something else. And I don't want to get to that place where work or something else is ahead of my family. So as hard as it is, time is what I focus on. I'm learning to do it. As I said to you, there's no, I don't have it down pat, but I am much better now at it, spending time with the family, leaving work at work. Because, I mean, today we're here, tomorrow we're gone.
Truth.
And you can't get back that time. So as much as I can, time is what I'm spending with my family.
What you value, Gordon?
Well, I agree with you 1,000%. For me, it's time, because as I said, time lost cannot be regained. You know, and spending time with person or with a person or with the person you love especially is very important because you don't want to not be spending time with them and not just to spend time, you know. I want to change it from saying spending time but investing time because investments bring forth returns, you get me? Because
money now. You got the money now. Going the worst than meaning money now.
But the truth is you don't want your wife, your kids to be turning to the wrong person because the truth is, you know, advice is always there, you know. But you want them to be able to can pick sense out of nonsense and to identify wrong from right from early, in the mid stage and late because quality time is important. Family building, to be able to socialize. Some of the time, like growing up in my early stage, I never did have cable because I came from the inner city. And whenever it is that I got the chance to watch some TV, I usually say, all right then, someone my life will become. So I started to build some little things from early and say, okay then, this is what I need to do to get there, you know? Because most person would say I'd want to give to my kids what I never have, you know? So I'm one of those persons who's trying to do that, but I want to enjoy a little of that still, you know?
And for me, the value of, everybody said earlier, time for me is very much important. I value the fact that you have a wife who will pray for you. And that for me as a man is very much important.
Yes,
you know, I value the fact that time spent with the children for me is hands down important. So I'm going to carve out time every single weekend, nightly to ensure that the kids get that time. Because I realize as an adult now, I don't remember getting money. I don't remember them paying the bills, but I remember the time that my parents would have spent with me. And I want when the kids are older, they can remember the time that daddy spent, you know, the time riding the bicycle, the time with the beach, the time for these things. And importantly, keeping the family together as best as you possibly can. And as men, I want to encourage those persons who are also listening, those persons who are not yet fathers, but you're a husband. That is important, you know, if you're not yet a man of God and that is along the line that you want to, you know, ensure that you spend time with God, time with the family, time with the wife, time with the children. Find that nice balance that you possibly can. Ensure that you find an outlet to release the stress as men. Talk to your brethren, you know, talk to your brethren, them, go have a drink, go and sit down and talk about it, pray about it. Importantly as well, level up financially. Don't allow yourself to be stuck in a rut. As a man, for me, what releases some of the stress as well mentally is ensure to have different streams of income. Okay, if one go down, I still am able to maintain the family as best as I possibly can. And having those things, we can get to be better men mentally, better men financially, and overall, we can change the stigma that man a dog, because guess what? We are good man, and good men are still there. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Fabian. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one, guys.